What is up, everybody? How's it going? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. LSU football are on a heater recruiting wise. Just cleaning up right now in the most depleted position on our roster, defensive line. And you just see, everybody has been questioning Bo Davis the last little bit, and it's just great to see some vindication. I know we're probably in for a difficult, tough, maybe, it could be a bad season on the defensive line. Maybe, we haven't played the games yet. I think it's going to be a lot better than people think, but just say, for example, we're only a couple injuries away, depth-wise, from really being at a bad place depth-wise for this season, okay? And, guys like McKinley, freshman, and Bro, another freshman who's coming in as a defensive end, having to play a lot of snaps. We could be a few injuries away from that, a few guys not playing well from that. So, and that might not be that bad. But what Bo Davis has done, now that he's finally in there, has been able to settle in, and actually, he has people act like he's been there for a year already. He hasn't coached a season yet. Let's remember that. And he's already starting to change the way LSU are recruiting the defensive line. Immediately already starting to change the way we recruit the defensive line. Him, Kevin Peoples, Blake Baker pulled out all the stops. Pulled out all the stops with this 4th of July weekend, power trio here. And this is something we crystal balled. What's up, buddy? This is something we crystal balled on the site just days ago. We're going to put this up here real quick. We'll get into DeCorian more in just a second. I see a comment about that from King Cole, because we've said it a billion times on this show and in our writings. You guys know it. We said DeCorian Moore to Oregon the whole time, and look what's going on. And it might just be something to put the price up. We'll get into that. We'll get into all of that. And remind me if I don't, for Christ's sake. Like, sometimes I need to have a producer. Anyway, so LSU destroyed on the recruiting trail, in my opinion. And I love these picks. Zion Williams. I mean, and a lot come from out of the state of Texas, too, which is very interesting to me. We're just basically like trolling Texas right now, saying like, yes, we can get your best guys. But this is basically Bo Davis going after targets that he was pursuing while he was there at Texas for so long. So these are top elite recruits for the 2025 season. The 2025 cycle that he's like, let's go and let's secure these guys. Zion Williams was one of them. 6'3", 330 pounds, this young man. I mean, the guy's stats are impressive, but I mean, they're not going to jump off the page. But it's really what he does in the trenches violently with his hands that it impresses me. He's got a formidable step, but really the violent hands in just crazy blinding traffic in the middle of a huge wash, an offensive line that's moving a ton, just barely post snap, offensive line is pulling this way, moving this way. It doesn't matter. He's athletic enough to fight through it, but like literally steely enough to just bulldoze guys. 6'3", 330 pounds. I mean, and then you've got a little bit of athleticism and speed there, raw as it may be. Zion Williams, very, very excited about this pickup. High 4-star once again. For just gotta quote the rankings because whatever. But that's what he is. That's what he is. He's another high 4-star, I guess we'll say here. But the film is incredible. The film is juicy. Zion Williams right there, and then you galleys Brandon Brown, another elite 4-star D lineman, and this is what we said. Who will be announcing a 4th of July commitment, and we saw that with Bo Davis's LSU Tigers firmly in the mix, of course, ahead of everyone else signing, or sorry, not signing, getting the commitment of Brandon Brown here, July 4th commitment. That's big time. And Brandon Brown out of Florida, look at these numbers right here: 14 and a half sacks, or sorry, 24 TFLs, 40 tackles, 4 sacks last fall as a true DT. And then look at this, though. Recorded 14 and a half sacks, 16 QB hurries, 107 tackles, 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 4 pass breakups, which are effectively batted passes at the line when you're talking about where he is on the field, 1 blocked punt, 1 blocked kick, all since his 2021 freshman campaign. That kid is that kid's phenomenal. That kid's might be the best commitment of the lot of them. I shouldn't say signing. I shouldn't even be messing that up so much, because this is so far from that in this day and age. But still, you got to feel like these guys are into Bo Davis. They love what he's, selling, the vision he's selling, but also the vision he can follow through on and deliver on. He's putting so many kids in the NFL. Kids who are now becoming NFL veterans, guys who won national championships at Alabama, where he was, coaching up their D-line under Saban. The guy's been around the block, and he's got the rings to show it. And Bo Davis coming back home to LSU and poaching Texas talent, doing it. You gotta just love it as an LSU fan, right? You just gotta love that it's like, okay, we have a good base of the LSU talent, right? Sorry, not LSU. We got a good base of the Louisiana talent, right? When it comes to the defensive line, we secured McKinley, Gabriel Ford. We said like no Moss to A&M. There's all these teams that were trying to poach certain guys, and we're like, no, they're staying home. And then you're able to go outside. Florida, always a state that produces top tier talent, the best, I think, outside of Louisiana. You got Louisiana, and then Florida, I feel, probably collectively, and then Texas probably either just right there or just tied with Louisiana and Florida for producing the most NFL talent, the most enduring NFL talents, and college football talents as well, and just football in general. These guys, these states produce unbelievable players, and so LSU, their staff can not only recruit the state of Louisiana well, because they're from the state of Louisiana. They have that pedigree within the state of Louisiana. Guys like Frank Wilson, Cortez Hankton, and now Bo Davis coming back home. Blake Baker, someone who, while another Texas native, has a ton of Louisiana roots through his wife, as well as just from him coaching at Tulane, coaching at, I think it was Louisiana Tech, coaching at a bunch of different LSU as well in 2021. So now that he's back home. So you've got all of these Louisiana ties, but you've got guys who have ties with Texas as well. Bo Davis, Blake Baker. And then you got Kevin Peoples, who I think really assisted on this last guy. Won't be the last LSU commitment of this month or in this week probably, but Damian Shanklin, this absolute, I wrote it like this, but I think it's very apt. Indiana's edge rushing powerhouse, who committed today, this afternoon. What a freak. He participates in track, throwing the discus and the shot put. He placed 4th in the state discus finals just as a sophomore. In 2023, this last fall at Warren High, Shanklin registered 66 tackles, 17 TFLs. 17 TFLs. That's causing some havoc. Had an interception as well. That's not even his complete statistics, but he's an absolute filth just watching this guy play. And we got to credit Shea Dixon, someone who it seemed was one of the first who posted that, these guys are probably going to be committing, and it's making everyone go boom, 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 boom. I had my same sources, likely same people talking to him, or maybe not, and just went, this is going to happen. But we've got to credit Shea Dixon because he's credited us. I feel like he was obviously first, and so we got to credit Shea Dixon for being first with this triple threat of defensive linemen coming to LSU, where it's exciting me for this 2025 class. I know there's been some juice lost when you're talking about DeCorian Moore decommitting, and everyone thinking, oh, LSU's losing something with this 2025 class. I disagree. And I know DK Moore went to Oregon, and that was something we predicted. We thought, okay, he's going to be enticed by the Nike reps, the Nike money. There's going to be some type of commitment to, we're going to put you immediately on roster, on the Nike roster and Nike commercials, like second you hit campus. I could see that. And I could see that being extremely attractive for a young receiver just about to go to try and take over the college game at, a school like Oregon, where Dan Lanning, he's going to be trying to win a national championship every season. That's a very ambitious coach you've got there at Oregon. And he's so ambitious, he went and was able to steal DK Moore from LSU. But, however, unlike, who is this who said this? We gotta highlight his comment because I saw that. Chester Langston. I saw you on Twitter a few times liking my stuff. Thank you for the support on Twitter, Chester. That means a lot because that helps a lot when people like and retweet our stuff. So I appreciate you doing that. He says, is it a failure by Cortez Hankton not to sign DeCorian Moore? Well, no, because here's the thing. DK Moore it's not over yet. He's just committed to Oregon. And I think this is to drive the price up. I think this is to drive the, and he's maybe sincerely into Oregon. But I think these kids almost view it as like another chess move, And who is to blame them? After years of being abused by the system, they hear all these stories from their brothers who played, their fathers who played, their moms who saw it with their friends' kids who played, all these stories of being abused in the recruiting system, getting processed, stuff like that. They're kind of like this, we've got the power now, and who can blame them? I can't. When you see these head coaches leave for, look at that baseball coach from A&M who went to Texas right after the College World Series, but there was all these vibes about it during the whole thing, right? What an absolute shit show. And yet these same people want to like castigate these kids for going, doing stuff like what DeCorian Moore is doing. I just think that's bullshit. But also, I don't blame DeCorian Moore for and kids like him using the process how it is now to their advantage, as they should, after being screwed over by this process for so long to the other extreme. Some may argue it's gone way to the other extreme now, which, maybe there's a point there. Maybe there's a point there that it's all gone to the other extreme when you're talking about what the coaches do, what the players do, what everyone's doing on that side of NIL and on that side of college football, funding and all of that. I also like the idea of there being an attainable Wild West type of setup while also having some sheriff in town type of, like, hey, okay, you crossed the line now. Okay, we got to do something here, rather than the NCAA going after people with petty bullshit punishments and, going down these rabbit hole pursuits, having an agenda against programs like we've seen with the NCAA, taking on LSU so many times. And sometimes rightfully so. LSU fans said that Will Wade was innocent and it was all bullshit. And it turned out that everything Pat Forty was saying and everything NCAA was saying was actually true, and it was really sloppy what he was doing. But there's a lot of other stuff against LSU from the NCAA that's been quite ridiculous, reckless, and makes the NCAA look like it will be obsolete very, very soon because they're overstepping their bounds. But we're getting down that rabbit hole. I digress. DK Moore, I think that's, we've seen him go to Oregon right now, but I don't think that's over. And is it a failure by Cortez Hankton not to sign him? He got a commitment from the 5-star already to begin with. He can get him again. And not only that, DK Moore, I think he likes LSU. I think he loves LSU, but I think he's just in that spot where it's the dog days of summer. You kind of want to make something just kind of happen because you're just kind of feeling this kind of heat-induced boredom, maybe, And he went on some visits, and who knows what he thinks. I think right now it's still up for grabs. I think it's still, his signature is still up for grabs, 100%. And Cortez Hankton, I would never put the word failure in the same sentence as his name for what he's done for LSU already. Some people might say, well, that was just Malik Neighbors going off. Brian Thomas Jr. was not the finished article when Cortez Hankton arrived. Of course, that you can see the evolution that Brian was supposed to take, and you could see the wasted potential that was going to happen unless Cortez Hankton stepped in and developed him. And he turned into the 17 touchdown, over 1,000-yard freak. We're going to see what he's going to be doing with Chris Hilton, Kyron Lacey. I think you've already seen pieces of that. They just didn't get the ball enough to really show you what they can do because, let's be honest, there was 2 guys who were just automatic. You almost had to give them the ball, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., because you were going to score if you did it. And you just couldn't really take a chance with anybody else, and that's kind of what you should do. And Kyron and Chris could do the same thing possibly this season with a pass-happy, kind of shotgun gunslinger quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier. We'll see. I know that this team is going to run a lot. This team is going to run the ball a lot. I've got a big feeling about that, at least early in this season. At least early in the season, and then possibly later in the season when it gets cold and gets, mid to late November. We could see that as well. But I think you will also see those passing numbers keep going up and up and up for LSU quarterbacks because Garrett, we all know what he can do. And it's not even him throwing a bomb every single play. It's how he's in rhythm and how he's just ticking along at a beautiful pace. I mean, he's just hitting in stride. He's just hitting the passes in stride. You go back and you see the Wisconsin footage, and they'll probably copyright strike me again if I use the footage again. Bro, LSU Tigers football fan, you DM me and stuff, bro. You follow me and stuff. You might be watching this. Don't copyright strike me for just putting on the Garrett Nussmeier Wisconsin video. If you want us to give you credit, sorry, we will give you credit. I thought I did. We can use this LSU sports one as well, but whoever this College Football Dynasty, I'm not sure if that's your channel. Is it? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But if it is, don't copyright strike us, bro. It's all good. This is from LSU Sports. This is courtesy LSU Sports. Copyright LSU Sports. I do not own this. This is copyright 2023 LSU Sports. LSU Athletics. when you see him just flying around here, there's a ton of pressure his way. And you can, if you notice the score, 14-0 against a top 10 defense, the best defense LSU played all season. And look at that pass. That's just, maybe a lot of people are going to kind of skip over that thing, but look at that. Look at the action there. I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you this, okay? In youth football, that type of play, 8 out of 10 quarterbacks, even at just my level playing defensive back, I could jump that route and pick that thing off, and we're going to the house. Just because it's such a tough route to throw this pass, and so a lot of youth football coaches, they're not going to call that play unless they've got something special at quarterback, because you're jumping that route and picking that thing off. Not with Nussmeier. That guy was just like huffing and puffing. And that's what we also did too, is we wore them down on that drive as well, running the football. And then Harold Perkins, in a game on the line situation, he scores. I love it. And then Caleb out of the backfield, just, you're going to see Garrett Nussmeier ice and dice people. And I just think there's some beautiful things about this offense that are coming up right now. But I also wanted to point out, of course, Caleb Jackson. He's a freak. But we're getting off the path here. We need to go back to recruiting here. These guys, these 3 defensive linemen, I feel, okay, we might need McKinley and Bro to kind of bridge us from this season to the next, okay? Or maybe Parashond moves from edge to inside. Maybe in an emergency, Savion Jones. There's a few options there. I don't think Jacobian Guillory and Geo Pates are going to win you a national championship. I'm just going to say that right now. I think you've got to have Jacobian Guillory at his best with someone who is speedy, can penetrate and actually get to the quarterback. Provide some pass rushing assistance by at least just attracting the attention by just causing havoc. I don't even care how many sacks they rack up. They could have literally a half sack by the end of the season. But if they can just give Braden Swinson, Harold Perkins even on some plays, Savion Jones, Deshaun Womack, Gabe Relaford, if Dylan Carpenter, the list of edge rushers that are really strong on this team, it's actually impressive. If we can get some type of push from that interior, Braden Swinson is capable of having an All-American season. I'm telling you that right now. Savion Jones is capable of having an All-American level, All-SEC type season. And that literally would be just sad to see such a pass rushing talent like Savion Jones leave LSU without having a really dominant sack, having 10, 12, 13 sacks type season. That would be a shame because he's such a talent. And he's been there now 3 seasons, Savion Jones. Just kind of like Chris Hilton on offense. He's been there for 3 seasons now. There's a lot of these 2021 guys, such a great class, 2021. Don't forget our starting quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, also from that 2021 class. They're at that moment where they've waited their turn, a lot of these guys. Jacobian Guillory's from 2020, the year before, but basically the 2021, considering he had a medical red shirt for that 2020 season due to injury. Only played 1 game. So technically, he's also 2021. You could throw him in there, I guess. Sage Ryan as well, another 2021 guy. You've got a lot of these 2021 guys where it's this is the moment now. And so you're seeing LSU recruit now for 2025, the 2025 class, which isn't just a top 5 class. What is it? Number 1 in the country? Number 2? What is the ranking on that class? Let's take a look. We'll go to Go 247 LSU 2025 class. Jesus. Okay, let's see if they'll actually just kind of show us if the class is ranked. Thought they would do that. Okay. Composite rankings. LSU is 6th. LSU is 6th on the 2025 composite rankings from 2024-7 or first 2024-7 from 247. My bad there. LSU are 6th on the 247 composite rankings. 6th for the 2025 class. Okay. LSU on 3 2025 class. We're gonna hit that Google button. LSU have the 4th national rank. I think that's a lot more fair, obviously, and probably thanks to Shea Dixon and Billy Embody being such pro LSU guys. No, there's actually a few more pro LSU guys there, but it's really just that's where the talent is. Come on, this is a sick class. So we've dropped from number 1, number 4, okay, and we've number 6, of course, from Go 247, who like. There's almost like some hatred about LSU from 247. Like it's very weird. Like they're almost like, damn you, LSU, you didn't give us access or something. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why. It seems like there's a few people there that don't like LSU. I think Sonny Ship loves LSU, and he's the guy who runs that show great there at 247. If Sonny Ship goes on 3, they're really screwed. I mean, they still got Josh Pate. They've still got the CBS deal, obviously. I'm really out of my depth talking about it. I shouldn't even talk about it. But in my opinion, Sonny Ship is a guy who really is underrated. Doesn't really get his dues. But that's because he kind of stays away from the spotlight. But he's a guy that I think is impressive on the recruiting and scouting scene. I just wanted to shout him out as well. Tony Thomas as well, a guy from College Football Dogs. That's another dude who I think has a really good future. He's quite older than me, so it's weird that I'm saying he has a great future. He's been doing this a lot longer than I have, but yeah, that guy's good as well. Yeah. Esturban, what's up, my man? That's hilarious. Cole Adams with the takedown right there. Stanwater says, if a player commits to you and then decommits from your school and commits to another school, should pay fine for the money they spend. No, because then every time you recruit a player, they're going to be thinking about how much this dinner is going to cost and who's going to pay for it. And they get really, no one's ever comfortable. It's always about, oh shit, someone's going to get in trouble. And it's just, that's not how we want to do things. That's not how we want to recruit things. And, have it be pay a fine. You didn't go to this class. You didn't go to this school. We're going to make you pay some ridiculous fine. No, I think that's absolutely crazy, Stan. I think if you're going to do that, you should also fine coaches if they're going to leave their, recruiting classes in a lurch. I mean, they're recruiting these kids days before they leave to the other school, man. And then, there's nothing that they can answer for when these kids have already signed like a letter of intent and stuff, and they're already going. Like, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's some terrible shit right there. So, I mean, I think it has more of an impact when a coach does that type of thing, when rather than just one player. Um, this is my view on it. I push to kids here all the time. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I guess you're meaning to come here to for LSU to sign Texas Tigers. I mean, I would rather LSU just stick to the state of Louisiana. I'm not wanting some type of like Texas, yeah. Like, I'm not really that big of a fan of, like, you know, we must LSU being like a Texas centric recruiting thing. Like, that's kind of like that's kind of the second tier of the focus, at least in my book. Like, if you go where the talent is, of course, but I want LSU to build a stockpile of the Louisiana kids, because that's and you can even put Florida just barely at 1A, or sorry, 1B, because Florida, we know what Corey Raymond can do there in that state when he's recruiting DBs. And we know what Bo Davis can do recruiting in the state of Florida as well as the state of Texas, and now in the state of Louisiana. So this is a guy who is all good all over the place. You got Brad Davis, who's dominating in all the southern states, all the states that matter, the southeast states. Georgia. Look at DJ Chester. He's from the state of Georgia. Garrett Dellinger's from Michigan. Miles Frazier's from Virginia. Will Campbell from Louisiana. Emory Jones from Louisiana. So you've got maybe a Louisiana base, but then you've got guys from all over the place. So I don't want LSU to discriminate about where the talent's from. I just go get the best guys, but I also don't want us to be hunting for some safety in Utah when that safety could be right there. You know? That's kind of the point. But I have no problem with it. Focusing on Texas guys who are talented and get them. Chris Melder says, "What's up, Lon? The defensive staff is making moves." Yes, they are. And I'm impressed. Blake Baker, Bo Davis, Kevin Peoples involved as well, getting Shanklin. I think that this is the start of something really strong with the defensive line. I think they're going to start recruiting the defensive line. Maybe not as well as the offensive line. I mean, that's hard to do. When you're talking about guys like Will Campbell and all that, like Emory Jones, and those guys are going to be first-round picks until the defensive line is producing those type of guys every year. Like Brad Davis is getting high 4 stars or 5 stars, number 1 ranked in their position. That's heavy duty. That's heavy duty. That's some serious mega superior gold, brother. That's what LSU needs. We need to have the doctor of the trenches. We've got the Davis twins, Bo and Brad Davis. I think LSU are going to be so screwed at defensive line this year only because of the lack of preparation over the last few years. Okay? And it has nothing to do with Bo Davis. Bo Davis is going to get us out of that mess. It might take a season. If it only takes us a season, he's moving quick. It should take us about 2. Dancing, clapping. What's up, Bobo? His age. I have. Here we go. Pretzel. Pretzel. Grabbing your tummy? What you doing? You grabbing your tummy? You weirdy weirdo. Now, Cole, do you know that 100%? Do you know that 100%? Because we're talking, and there might be someone in this room who does know 100% if Moore's mom wanted Texas, dad wanted money, Moore wanted LSU. Because that sounds like some serious family drama right there. Are you sure that that's 100% true? Well, because that's a big thing to say. That Moore's mother wanted Texas, his dad wanted money, and Moore wanted LSU. It sounds like a split family that's kind of not seeing eye to eye, and that doesn't. I'm not sure if that's correct. I'm not sure if that's correct. Chris Melder says Shanklin is going to be a beast. Watch his film today, and he is crazy quick off the edge. Yes, he just causes a lot of havoc with that length. And I think when you got a guy like Kevin Peoples, who knows exactly how to develop these guys, it seems, and I think it's the right way too. He doesn't let them get soft and be like kind of like loaf on their talent. He gets them to stay aggressive because it's like, dude, you are so dynamically, athletically superior. If you fall down, you're going to get a sack. There is no excuse in the world for why you should not end the season with at least 8 sacks, and then the guy will pick up like 2.5. Like that's not going to happen under Kevin Peoples, or that guy's coming out of the game. So we're going to see production. I think this is going to be a defense. Maybe it's not top 50. Maybe it's still lingering in the 60s because there's just some parts of this defense that are just depleted, or there's some parts of this defense that we don't maybe figure out the jigsaw puzzle. DB, we could quite rightly pick the wrong 2 DBs to play corner and the wrong 2 DBs to play safety and get absolutely burnt and turned against USC. And then we make the wrong move, and we continue to just make the wrong move, and you keep switching and mixing, and finally we get it, but it's the right guy. We finally got him on the field, but we got the other guy on the field that shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want LSU to find the right combination at defensive back. We cannot forget about that. We got absolutely slaughtered at the back, but it was mostly because of the coverage, mostly because of the soft coverage. If you go back and watch the footage, most of the passes are LSU corners being way off, LSU safeties being lost. The safeties and the linebackers were the biggest issues in the passing game. Those guys allowed the most touchdowns charged against them and the most yards. The corners just allowed a lot of gimme yards right there. I think we can find the right ones there. I think you put out JV and Toviano. You got PJ Woodland maybe on the other side. Ashton Stamps, Zay Alexander if he's healthy. You've got some good pieces there. I think it all revolves around JV and Toviano being on the field. Number 25 for me is that guy that's like, I feel like you've got to ride or die with that dude. That's another Texas Tiger as well. That was another guy who the second he committed to LSU, he was downgraded from a 5-star to a 4-star. The second he committed to LSU. It was kind of funny. Yes. The number 1 overall prick. I thought of that today when I saw it, number one overall. I'm like, that's actually a great name for a news show. Like number one overall prick, hosted by Lon Philip Sullivan, live. Number one overall prick. Sounds terrible, I guess, now that I kind of say it out loud to myself. Shit. Oh, God. It's not just to myself. It's to like 500, 600 people. Oh, my God. Oh, what have I done? Jason Giovanni, what have you done? No. No. Get this man. Seize him. Make him walk the plank. Oh, wow, an actual question from Mr. Giovanni. Jason Giovanni says, do you think Michael Turner could play as a freshman DB? He's got the speed. He's got the speed to recover. But, I get he plays both ways, and he's such a dynamic talent. I don't see how you take Ashton Stamps off the field for Michael Turner unless he absolutely dominates in practices. Unless he absolutely shackles Kyron Lacy, shackles Chris Hilton Jr. both, outperforms P.J. Woodland as well, outperforms, you could even put, okay, hey, Sage Ryan, we're going to move you from safety to corner just for today's practice, and if this kid outplays you too, shit, we're going to definitely have to move him here, and because you're our fourth option or whatever at corner, or if it's also Zion Alexander in front of him as well. Oh God, I'm forgetting J.K. Johnson. I'm forgetting Jair Brown. So there's even more options as well, the two former Ohio State transfers. So you've got quite a bunch of options there. Michael Turner, I know some of those guys are coming off injuries. J.K. Johnson, Jair Brown. But for the most part, I think those guys are in full go, full health, from what I've heard. They're in summer workouts. Maybe they'll be limited to start fall camp just because it's just going to be being smart by our coaching staff. But Corey Raymond's got no short of options at corner. Michael Turner, nah, I think there's no reason there for him to be playing defensive back. LSU recruiting is on fire. Like that Bruce Springsteen song, that creepy, really creepy Bruce Springsteen song. Ooh, I'm on fire. LSU recruiting is on fire. On fire. Anytime you sign 3, should be 5 stars, basically. Just very close to being 5 stars. At a position of need, of desperate need. You've signed the right, hired the right coaches. You've got the right guys here. Bo Davis, obviously the right guy. Performing as he should, as he has for so many years in his career. Delivering, as I said earlier. He delivered for LSU in a moment LSU absolutely needed him to close. And so did Kevin Peoples. Just continuing to restock and replenish who we have at edge. It's a beautiful thing. Alignment. Nearly sexual in its greatness. Unbelievable in its madness. The wonder and mystical madness of LSU recruiting. Here, presented to you the audience, the viewer, the listener by LSU Odyssey. Welcome to LSU Odyssey Drive-In Theater. Do not forget to throw your trash in the receptacles. Your syringes must be thrown in the hazard sign receptacle. Do not forget that. Keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times as to contain LSU absolutely must stock in the trenches, and that's what we've done to offensive line. The offensive line for the next few years is in a very good place. I love what Brad Davis has done. I almost called him Bo. I love what Brad's done for the offensive line. Obviously, there's some guys there that are going to leave, and there's some guys there that might not be too experienced taking over the positions next year. Cohen Eccles, some guys like that. Ethan Callaway. You saw a guy like Joe Cryer leave. Kind of weird. But other than some weird stuff like that, I think LSU offensive line are in a good place. I think LSU offensive line need to keep at least one of Campbell or Jones for one more season just to help our offensive line. Just to always be in that perfect spot, maybe to bring some guys along, we have to have Campbell and Jones stay another year if they could. I think they'd probably be down for it, but, Will Campbell's in a spot where he could be a number one overall pick. Not a number one overall pick like me, but he could be a number one overall pick, Will Campbell. So, I mean, he's in that spot. He's going to be a top 5 pick no matter what. And I think after all is said and done, Emory Jones is underrated. But I think he'll be also drafted in the first round as well. By the way, we're wearing our buddy's iconic brand shirts. Iconic mentality. Go to iconicbrand.com today. Shop at Iconic Brand today. The best place I have ever heard of in championship mentality apparel, which is only what I want to wear. I want to look down upon my breast and see something that says, divide, conquer. Well, no, not divide. Unify, conquer. You always hear the whole divide, conquer. Okay, well, leave that for the Satanist freaks. We're going to unify and conquer. Leave the divide and conquering for the necrophiles and Logan Graffias of the world. People are going to get that inside joke somewhere. Someone is going to get that inside joke. Not a shot at Logan Graffia. Someone's going to get that necrophilia inside joke about Logan Graffia. But oh, here, buddy. Here. He's like, I'm sick of bugging Mama. Can I come bug you? Let's see. Okay, we've got. You can bug me all you want, buddy. We're fine. Yes, indeed, Jason. Yes, indeed. Stocking up on that beef. Beef, it's what, with Bo Davis, Brad Davis, beef, it's what's for dinner. Chris Melder says, Lon, what is your way too early USC prediction? Way too early USC prediction. Oh, shit, man. Chris, why did you do this to me? Why did you? How could you put me through this? Chris, who do you think you are? What you've done? What you've done to him? No! Chris! Chris! What is your way too early USC prediction? Chris, why are you doing this to me? Because I have a whole thing set up for a bit from now. We've got something set up for 2 weeks from now. We set up our projects quite in advance for a USC preview. But you know what? We can do a preview of that right now. We could do a mini preview of that right now. Because I love you, Chris. You are a golden crucible god. I have to eat these pretzels. Sorry, guys. I think LSU. Okay, I'm gonna say it to you like this: one, LSU should win this game. They should win it handedly, right? On paper. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an LSU fan. The LSU versus Florida State game last year, I would not have said, and I never said, LSU should win this on paper and be dominant. I thought this is going to be a close game. I thought LSU would pull it out in the end. I thought LSU would pull it out by like 9 points. I think it was my prediction. 9 or 10 points, like a field goal and a touchdown due to a turnover. Very much in a, one possession can tie it, get it close, and then they turn it over. We get another field goal, seal it. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure without looking, that was my prediction. I was wrong on LSU winning, obviously. LSU got their asses kicked. But had a few things gone here or this way, thither or thither, LSU win that game or get close to winning that game because our offense just could not punch in these brilliant drives. Our defense could not stop a soul. If we were able to adjust here and there on defense, Jaden Daniels would have kept us in that game. He was in another world, and we just didn't really see it all, the ingredients of what that offense was about to become, but you can see flashes of it. There's just, that's a play Brian Thomas Jr. would have made 2 weeks later, against Mississippi State. Oh, shit. Malik Neighbors would have gone off for like 150 gutty, tough yards in this game 2 weeks later. Like, they made some really good adjustments after that Florida State loss. Okay. Point is, we cannot afford to start this season with another loss, another high-profile, neutral site, big game, opening week loss. We cannot do that. We put our team under so much criticism right out of the gates, so much toxicity right out of the gates, so many eyes from the entire world because it's Labor Day, and we're like the only game on at that time on Sunday, I believe, once again. Only game as well. People are looking forward to this one. It's going to be hype. So anything that happens, it's going to be huge overreaction from that game. LSU, this team has to win this game. As much as we have some leaders on this team, those leaders are still young enough that a complete collapse could shake their confidence. We cannot let that happen. We have to start the USC game off with a win. Number two, like literally, it is like almost like it is literally a championship game. I would take it as seriously as a championship game if I'm Brian Kelly. Like this, I'm not kidding. This is as serious as a championship game. You cannot start this season off with a loss when you look at the schedule. And you know what? Two, you cannot start off this season with a loss losing to USC because you should be beating this team. No ifs, ands, or buts. You should be beating this team. Okay. Number three, LSU might not be able to have every little detail of their offense figured out. But one thing they damn well know how to do already offensively is run that football with Josh Williams behind that offensive line. or John Emery even behind that offensive line, or superstar in the waiting, in the making, history for the taking, Caleb Jackson. You know, you've got these guys. You got freshman Caden Durham as well. So you've got these weapons in the running back room, and those guys can move this thing along. You've got the tight ends who are absolutely the best tight end room in America, and the best tight end room that LSU's ever had. Mason Taylor, Mac Markway, Kamorion Pimpton could be a red zone finisher at the height of his powers, at the tip of his ceiling. And then you've got a generational talent in Trey'Dez Green. I'm not sure how much they're going to play Trey'Dez Green this season, but if they do, and he's good enough to rise to that challenge, you're talking about LSU might have an offense where the cup overfloweth. Like, and I know people are saying to me a few shows ago, like, we're going to have a couple 1,000-yard receivers like last year, Kyron and Chris. And I'm thinking, like, I'm not sure if that's going to happen just because there's so many weapons and we want to get so many different guys the ball. Well, we haven't even talked about Aaron Anderson yet. Boom. It's a guy right there, C.J. Anderson. Boom. Xavion Thomas, who exploded in the spring game. Boom. You know, like, LSU have weapons all over this offense. It is exciting as hell. So that's another thing I'm saying right here. LSU's offense versus this USC defense that, yes, they've got a new coach. They've got, Alex Grinch is gone. The Grinch who stole the defense. He's left USC. But who I'm really thinking they're going to have some star power from Bear Alexander. They're going to have, some good contributions from some places across the field, but they've lost some big pieces on that defense. They haven't developed some of the guys they have on roster correctly. They haven't let, there's a former LSU commit. This young man was committed to LSU for over a year. He was a 5-star, number 1 in his position in his class. Very recent class. He's going to be on the team that plays LSU in Vegas, okay? This young man, still close with his family. Love this young man. I hope he really gets that opportunity this season to turn it on, but he has not had that opportunity over the last few years when it was like, that dude should have been your superstar linebacker. That guy could have been a number 1 pick. That kid should be a number 1 pick. And it's a damn shame what USC have done developmentally under Alex Grinch. It's really pathetic how he has wasted players. And that's why, I think you also saw Tackett Curtis enter the portal and leave to go to Wisconsin. Because I don't think what the solution to Alex Grinch was even going to be viable for Tackett and his development either. So that tells me a little bit of what we've got coming in with USC's defense. At their best, LSU should still be pumping them full of lead, to quote Home Alone, by at least 35 points, to the tune of 35 points, okay? So, okay, I'm not gonna give you a prediction yet. We're gonna save that for the show because I've got it in my head already. I've got it in my head. The second I thought of the game, like when wow, the Wisconsin game ended, and I was like, what's next? This is crazy. Season's over. Wow, kind of thinking about the season, and it's like LSU open against USC. And I was like, ooh, in Vegas, yeah. The first thing I thought of, Garrett Nussmeier, he's going to be, he's going to be the quarterback. Interesting. Nussmeier technically starts off then. The score, like, flashed across my brain. Just boom. And it was like, okay. Yep, like a lock being opened by a key, like just the key. Like, that fits. That's perfect. Like that's like how it fits in my head. Like, okay, that makes sense. That's kind of the theme for what I think this game will see. I think LSU, and we've discussed this on the spaces. We did a Twitter space, an X space, and we said this on the X space. I know a fan, Big Facts times 3, agrees with me on this statement. LSU have to dominate running the football in that game. You can have dual threat, passing out of the backfield to Caleb or to Josh Williams, John Emery. You can do all that. You can throw the tight ends, but I really think it's got to be let Garrett settle in by running it down USC's throat. Overpower USC physically. Wear them down. Beat them down. Beat them down. You know what I'm saying? Like LSU's offensive line could and should cannibalize this USC defense, right? Alex Grinch who stole defense or not, he's gone. It doesn't matter, right? They're going to be so much better. I don't see that. I really think Lincoln Riley has a problem hiring defensive coordinators. He just has an issue when it comes to that defense. He needs someone to be like almost a program manager to override his defensive hiring decisions and be like, Lincoln, we're going to take it from here. Thank you, my man. Just go focus on that playbook in there with the quarterbacks. Go get us another Heisman winner. We're going to get you a defense that's actually going to take us to a championship game for once. God damn it. So I'm still not very frightened by a Lincoln Riley defense. I know he's not the coach of the defense, but you know what I'm saying. A defense on a Lincoln Riley team. They're never good. And you know why? The offense they play with doesn't complement them. They wear them down. Their own offense is going to wear them down by how quickly they possess the football and either score or punt, get rid of the ball, turn it over, whatever it is. It's happening quick and it's fast. And it's never going to give the defense time to really adjust or get their heads out of their asses to kind of figure out their own game plan and how to figure, how to find some tweaks here and there to their game plan to find some success on the field. So instead, you just see the same old shit happening over and over and over. That may have been also an issue for LSU's defense this last year because of how high-flying our offense was. With that in mind, on both sides of the field, having a first-time starter at quarterback, I know it's not his first time starting. That was against Wisconsin, but you know what I'm saying? First time starting in a game that actually really matters. As much as the game against Wisconsin mattered, of course, this really matters. You know what I'm saying? This is up a tier. Let's just put it that way from the ReliaQuest Bowl. As much as we wanted to end the season with 10 wins, this is up a tier. Bah. And so LSU have to deliver here. And both sides of the ball, you want to see LSU keep their defense fresh by possessing the ball and running it down USC's throat. You also want to see LSU's offense drain LSU's defense. Sorry. I had it right the first time. You also want to see LSU's offense drain USC's defense by possessing the football. You also want to see LSU let their quarterback kind of settle in and bleed in to the game and open up that play action game via the possessing of the football, the running of the football behind that Joe Moore Award winning should be Joe Moore Award winning 2023 Joe Moore Award finalist offensive line. That's what should happen, right? These games never go by the script. And so LSU have to be ready for everything in this game. And they have to be ready to recognize this shit is not working. Get this guy out of that position now, especially on defense. I think LSU are going to be a little more conservative than they will be in week 4, week 5, on offense. And I think that's not something we should be worried about as long as we're getting first downs. If we're not getting first downs and we're getting stuffed running the football, you still stick with the running game, but you start kind of opening it up, You start being willing to take these shots more. And I think LSU absolutely need to throw the football in this game. I'm not saying they don't, but I want to see the running of the football setting up the pass in all sorts of ways. Not only wearing down USC physically, but mentally, and just controlling the game, giving our own defense so much time to kind of feel omnipotent on the sideline, kind of like, damn, I kind of missed that tackle on that last play. Like, they can actually have a conversation for a second, and they can be like, okay, on that, when we do this, when we do that, you're coming in and you're supporting me. Okay, we got to communicate out there, man. We got to say this and this. Okay. You actually get a game plan. You actually have time to figure it out. When it's over in 5 plays, 6 plays, you've barely even begun to like get some type of instruction over even what you're going to try to change. And so maybe only one guy or 2 guys gets the full message from the coach. And then it's down to just communication skills. And maybe 5 plays later, everyone's got the message, but they could have scored a touchdown by then. It was big. Chris Melder, how big was that bowl game for Nuss? I think it was huge for his confidence. We've said it a lot. We've shown it a lot. It fills us with a lot of confidence when you're talking about Garrett Nussmeier. But we already were confident with Garrett Nussmeier. When you're talking about the Georgia appearance, we're talking about his touchdown and his appearance against Arkansas, a game LSU, we could not get it in the end zone outside of that brilliant spin move away from pressure that Nuss did and that touchdown to Besh. Unbelievable touchdown catch by Besh to catch that and get 1 foot in. But the throw is disgusting as well. I just this is still showtime though, This is a different thing. There was a lot of stakes and a lot of, we've got to win this game type of feeling about the Wisconsin game, but nothing like the USC game will be. And we all know that. And I think Garrett Nussmeier is almost just like Jaden Daniels, just like Joe Burrow. He doesn't just have a responsibility to win the game. He feels he has a responsibility to entertain us because he has a respect for the working fan. He has a respect for the working man where he's like, okay, you know what? I need to entertain. I want to put on a show. And that's why we fucking love these type of players. We love a Jaden Daniels. We love a Joe Burrow, not just because they won Heisman's, not just because they won, a national championship in Burrow's case, but because they did everything in their power to say, you paid for your ticket. You bought the ride. I'm going to take you down like the rabbit hole of, another dimension than you can imagine of LSU football. Tyrann Mathieu right in the same category, even though he's not a quarterback. Devin White. There's just these players that do that, transform. Malik Neighbors, he was the guy who kind of transformed your Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, receiver. All the list goes on and on and on. Garrett Nussmeier can continue that path again, and we've seen the evidence of that. We've seen it in that bowl game. It's not just how poised he is under the blitz, under the pressure coming at him. It's how he uses that to then go make a bigger play downfield, or uses that to effectively run for 7 or 8 yards, get the first down, and slide, get out of bounds as well, protect himself. And he also seems like he has eyes in the back of his head. Quarterback son. He's so aware out there, hyper focused, and from all of his quotes, I know they're just quotes, and quotes are not going to win you games or anything. See Miles Brennan about that. But see also injuries kind of ruining things for Miles Brennan too. So that's kind of a cheap shot by me. What a dick move by me. Sorry about that, Miles. But Nuss, he doesn't need to even think about what he accomplished in that bowl game anymore. I don't even think we should talk about it anymore because it's almost like, okay, that was then, like, it's over. Like, that was a huge moment of promise. We got to keep hanging over that kid's head, like 400 yards, MVP, perfect game type of, like, okay. He needs to forget about trying to entertain and just go win the game for the first few weeks of the season, until he at least gets I'm the LSU starting quarterback. This is my team. He already feels that way, but you have to feel that way by earning it on the field as well. He knows that. He knows that more than anybody. Garrett's a football coach's kid, a quarterback's kid. I just think we all really want this to be a very successful season for Garrett Nussmeier. I think if you are rooting against Garrett Nussmeier, you are not an LSU fan. And I don't want to know you. You don't deserve a human face. All right, guys, one more question, and then we'll stop for the night, and we'll resume with another show coming up here soon. King Cole Adams says, Lon, do you think BK will let Baker play younger players in defensive rotation? I know BK values experience over athleticism. Yeah, but great point, King Cole. I want to talk about this type of stuff. You know what? BK is going to have to just deal with it because some of these younger players, Gabe Relaford, have to play. Thank God Ovio Gofu moved on. Thank God Omar Speights isn't there anymore because they'd probably still play, Now there's no excuse not to play Deshaun Womack. Now there's no excuse not to get Gabe Relaford in the game. Dude at 3.5 TFLs, 2 sacks. 4.5 TFLs, 2 sacks. Absolute freak in that spring game. I know it's just a spring game, but he showed a lot. And he's just a massive kid. It's not like he's going to be shrinking, before the USC game. So I think we'll be in good fine fettle. I have no worries about the edge rushing tandem, as long as they just make sure that Braden Swinson's out there for most of the snaps, and then most likely Savion Jones, Deshaun Womack, kind of having the snaps together. I think that's a smart tandem at the edge. And then, maybe Parashand is that DT who starts the season alongside Jacoby and Guillory on the inside. Because, Parashand is an edge guy who's been kicked inside. He's more of a DE. But it's very strange. The difference between a defensive end and a jack linebacker on this defense right now for LSU and personnel, it's almost like it's very fluid. It's almost like LSU at corner and safety or nickel. Like there's so much versatility on this team defensively, and that's a very good thing. But it's also something that you must navigate correctly, or you go down a very, very bad vortex that loses you games because you have a guy that, he does the job. He kind of fits in the position. So you feel good about yourself, how innovative you are, but he doesn't maximize the defense and make the defense better. Whereas there's a bunch of other guys who know that position, play that position, who are younger, who could go there and have that impact. I don't think Brian Kelly is going to be able to get away with saying, nope, Blake, nope, Coach Blake. We're not going to put in that young guy because this old guy who sucks, who's sucking it up, has to play ahead of him. You know, like I can't see that happening. The reason Matt House got away with doing that is because I don't know what the hell was going on, but it seemed like Coach Kelly was letting him have his autonomy so much. Maybe per their agreement in the contract that Kelly literally couldn't say shit about his defensive calls. Maybe that was what happened. Because that's what happened. He didn't say shit about anything. And never said, I would literally have marched up there, ripped his headphones out, and booted him out of the stadium with a kick in the ass. And I would have marched him. He would march naked with a stone tied around his neck through the Tiger Walk, past all the fans to apologize. Literally apologize in a falsetto singing voice while we're playing the Bee Gees on a repeat, Oh, sorry, we lost. He's dragging the stone. You will drag the stone to the clock tower. That's what we should have done to Matt House. That's what we should have done to Matt House. Instead, we let that motherfucker off the hook. I'm having so much fun with this podcast today, guys. Oh my God, this is going to be funny to watch. See, when I do a show that's not like this, I watch it over and over again and analyze what I said and was this good or was this not good? This is a show I'm not even going to rewatch because I know this was good. This was fun. This was a good time. I hope you guys had a good time here. I hope you guys had fun because I just have so much fun talking with you guys. I just so pumped up for this season, for fall camp. I really hope we can get to fall camp, and there's one way you can help us get to fall camp. Subscribe to LSUOdyssey.com. Go to LSUOdyssey.com/subscribe. Subscribe for just $4 per month, $10 per year. Quite the deal when you get subscribers info ahead of time, like we just showed you on the screen earlier about the 3 commitments LSU just had, including today's and the last and the 2 on the 4th. We had that information as well. So, John Emery Jr., another story. We had him coming back to LSU. So many different stories we've broken where subscribers of LSUOdyssey.com know first and foremost. Right now, there's almost there's literally a 26-minute read of an article, a giant prismatic monolith of a thing called the 100 years of Tiger Stadium, top 10 greatest moments in 100 years of Tiger Stadium. This thing is a beast. It's huge. It was quite a conquering to be able to finish and to write that thing. I know people are kind of probably too scared to read something like that once they start. Oh God, how long is this? Oh my God, is he trying to kill me? Is this like a Manson manifesto? Is he trying to convert me to Scientology? What is this shit? This is so long. But check it out. Check it out because we put a lot of effort into it, a lot of love. We're getting some love from across the way. I want to thank some people in LSU media. Sometimes I like to think we're at war with these people. Oh, we have to be at war. Blah, blah, blah. No. Whether they like me, whether they don't like me, whether they hate me, who cares? I want to just say thank you to so many of these people because a lot of them have credited us whether it took them a few years, whatever. People can argue about whatever. People can point out whatever. There's some people who were nefarious, some people who weren't, whatever. I don't really care about any of that anymore. There are people who have literally credited us and helped us with our career by giving us credit for the stories as they should have, and gave our hard work credit that we wouldn't have gotten from probably some other slime balls, So I'm grateful for people like Shay Dixon. I'm grateful for people like Jacques Doucet, who's been amazing since we started. T-Bob Hebert as well. He was awesome since we started. Who else? Who else in LSU media was awesome to us? That it just deserves a big shout out. I'm trying to think, forgetting some names, but anyway, I have no ill will towards anybody. No ill will. We sometimes just like to troll. We like to make jokes. Sometimes we also like to point out some serious flaws, some serious shit that we don't agree with. Doesn't mean we hate the person or if we saw them bleeding, dying on the road, we'd just keep driving and go, ha, 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 and putting some Beach Boys and just, no, we wouldn't do that. We'd stop and make sure they're okay, get them in the car and take them to safety. Like, it's a badass group. And I think LSU fans have the best of the best. And that's why this thing gets so damn competitive, because LSU fans know we're covering the best team. We know we're covering the most exciting team and program. And so it's a fight for the news. It's a fight for the scoops, because they taste so damn good, baby. They taste so damn good. Jason Giovanni says, been on the Voice of College Football lately. No, not for a long time, actually. It's been like 2 years, maybe. Yeah, I'd have no problem going back on that show. I don't know what's up. But yeah, Mark's a hard worker. The guy works his ass off. Started that empire from nothing, kind of like we have, and he's done really well for himself. It's not. I haven't been on the show for a while, but I did do over like 200 episodes, so I was on there for quite a bit. And no regrets doing it. I think it helped sharpen our skills, and it was a good time. But yeah, I'd have no problem going on that show. That'd be no problem for me. I have no ill will with anybody. I have no problem with anybody. Like, I have no problem going on anybody's show. I have no problem doing anything with, hey, this person's gonna have you on your show, whatever. Like, okay, I'll clean up, I'll shave, I'll spruce my hair up. I'm due for a haircut anyway. It's just takes Chelsea a bit to, for everything to be there for me to get a haircut, because we're so damn busy. We just forget about it too. I need to get some water real quick. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you guys have a good rest of your night. Happy Friday. Hope it was an awesome killer 4th. Shop at iconicbrand.com, and hopefully you go to LSUOdyssey.com, you subscribe, and help us get to fall camp. We want to be doing a live stream like this, outside the fence, inside the fence, at LSU's football camp. Do you want us to do that? Do you want us to be able to give you unfettered access that the others, make you pay every little cent for? Okay, help us get there. If you help us get there, our content will be for free for the entirety of fall camp. If you can subscribe and support us, which we rarely ask for the likes, we rarely ask for the retweets, we rarely ask for the clicks, the subscriptions, we're going to right now. We need your help. We want to get there. And we want to get there, and we want to kick some ass. And if you help us get there, it won't just be for subscribers. It will be for everybody who, as a community, helped us get there. Times are tight. We got a baby, some crazy shit, but we can make it happen. We just need some help. We need a little bit of help to get there, and some help from you guys would make it go a long way. If that is not possible for you guys in a financial situation, that is okay. Do not put yourself in a financial bind to support someone. It's okay. It's all good. You can. Amazing. Me, just incredibly appreciative of it. If you can't, that's okay. We still love you. Always will love you. It's all good. But Chris says, I watched him just to hear Zach Nagy, the Hungarian Sports Illustrated man. Zach Nagy. He says, I think you need to give Voice of College Football the straight take on those years. Tiger. What? Chris, I just watched him just to hear Nagy. Oh, you're meaning on Mike Scarborough. Okay. So yeah, I like Zach because Zach gave us credit on our stories with Sports Illustrated. So, I mean, a Sports Illustrated credit, we'll take it. We've gotten credits from Sports Illustrated maybe 4 or 5 times in the last few years. Not a ton from them. We've probably gotten our most credits from On3. And I've got to have a big thank you for Shay Dixon for doing that. Like Billy Embody as well. He's credited us on multiple things. I mean, they're going to credit the people who deserve to get the credit with the story. I mean, because we've been getting credit from some of these guys for years. And really, just like we credited Shay Dixon today with breaking the power trio signing to LSU, that's just what you do, That's just what you should do. Like, he was first. We weren't. I don't even want to pretend like that's my story. Oh, let's get some hits. Like, there's accounts that do that. And you guys need to stop liking their accounts and retweeting their accounts and giving those accounts love, because those accounts are full of shit. And you know it. You know that some of these accounts are like, wow, they just ripped off Shay Dixon's news. They just ripped off LSU Odyssey's news. They just ripped off that video from Geaux. They just ripped off that thing and they're just repurposing it as their own to get hits and clicks. And they don't have any talent to create their own actual content. You know who I'm talking about. Stop supporting them. Support the people like me. Support the people like Shay Dixon. Support the people like Jacques Doucet. Support the people like Mike Scarborough. Support, these guys actually go out. They work their ass off. They do interviews. They talk to the people. And they cover LSU. They don't sit in the basement and talk to a microphone and a wall. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's done. And those are the people I respect and I want to learn from. Everybody, have a hell of a night. We'll be seeing you soon. Go Tigers, baby.